Former Vice President Joe Biden is now the president-elect, according to the Associated Press, which projects he's reached the needed 270 electoral college votes. Biden achieved his majority after a closely fought race, with President Trump making unsubstantiated claims of voting fraud and pursuing legal action in some states. Biden ran as a unifier, telling voters he'd work across the aisle. As president, he would govern a country that's bitterly divided, tackling an economy that's put millions on unemployment and a pandemic that's killed more than 230,000 Americans. It's the job Biden has dreamed of for most of his adult life.
I announce my candidacy for President of the United States of America.
He was a 45-year-old man when he first ran for president in 1988. He gave it another go 20 years later.
Oh, I am ready for president. I am ready.
But 2008 wasn't his year either. He dropped out before then-Senator Barack Obama won the Iowa caucuses. After clinching the party's nomination, Obama asked the six-term senator to join his ticket.
The next president, the next vice president of the United States of America, Joe Biden.
Are you prepared to take the oath, Senator?
I am.
In the White House, the two men formed a close relationship over their 8 years together. In 2015, after months of will he or won't he speculation, Biden opted out of challenging Hillary Clinton for the Democratic nomination, citing the death of his son, Beau.
All right, folks. Beau is our inspiration. Unfortunately, I believe we're out of time, the time necessary to mount a winning campaign for the nomination.
Fast forward 2 years, and Biden was again being talked about as a potential challenger to Trump, including by Trump.
He was always a 1%er. He was a 1% guy. He ran 2 or 3 times. He never got above 1%.
But Biden took his time, and that allowed a sprawling lineup of Democrats to get a head start.
I stand before you today
to announce my candidacy, to declare that I am a candidate.
I'm running for president.
For president of the United States.
Biden joined in.
I'm announcing my candidacy for president of the United States.
But to many, he seemed out of step with a party that appeared eager to push left. His more than 4-decade career in Washington gave fodder to his opponents, who questioned his prior handling of such issues as criminal justice, Supreme Court nominations, and school busing.
Do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America? Then,
No.
do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education.
And Biden's positions on current issues stood in contrast to those of his progressive opponents on issues like health care.
I understand the appeal of Medicare for all, but folks supporting it should be clear that it means getting rid of Obamacare, and I'm not for that.
Biden also took a far less lenient approach to illegal immigration than some of his peers.
If you cross the border illegally, you should be able to be sent back. It's a crime.
When the 2020 Iowa caucuses rolled around, Biden finished in 4th place.
I am not going to sugarcoat it. We took a gut punch in Iowa.
In another blow to his campaign, he placed 5th in New Hampshire's first-in-the-nation primary.
They're beginning to have that feeling of a loser.
Then, after gaining a key endorsement from Congressman Jim Clyburn,
South Carolinians should be voting for Joe Biden.
Biden in South Carolina won his first primary, thanks in large part to strong support from the state's black voters. Shortly thereafter, 2 of Biden's competitors dropped out and endorsed him. It was a big turning point that doomed Bernie Sanders.
Look, the people aren't looking for revolution. They're looking for results.
After Sanders dropped out, Biden would have, in a typical year, then barnstormed the country. But because of COVID, he made no in-person public appearances until Memorial Day. But the Trump versus Biden battle had begun in earnest. Amidst growing protests sparked by the killing of George Floyd while in police custody, Trump cast Biden as a supporter of disorder.
Americans have watched left-wing radicals burn down buildings, loot businesses, destroy private property.
Biden accused Trump of fanning the flames on issues of race.
We've had racists, and they've existed. They've tried to get elected president. He's the first one that has.
And then, in an event carefully choreographed for safety, Biden introduced his running mate, California Senator Kamala Harris. She was the first black woman and first woman of Asian descent nominated for a presidential ticket.
And this morning, all across the nation, little girls woke up, especially little black and brown girls, who so often feel overlooked and undervalued in their communities. But today, just maybe, they're seeing themselves for the first time in a new way.
As I said, Joe, when you called me, I am incredibly honored by this responsibility, and I'm ready to get to work.
At the unconventional Democratic National Convention, the theme was unity.
It's time for us, for we the people, to come together. And make no mistake, united we can and will overcome this season of darkness in America.
Trump, at the Republican National Convention, put the Democrats' message of unity in a different light.
Biden is a Trojan horse for socialism.
The rancor between the two men was on full display in their first head-to-head debate.
I enjoyed it less than your last night first.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that.
Will you shut up, man? Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
Before the coronavirus, the economy was on track to be the focus of this election, but handling of the crisis superseded it.
You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
We got the gowns, we got the masks, we made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made ventilators, and now we're weeks away from a vaccine.
Biden accused Trump of endangering his supporters at rallies.
He's been totally irresponsible the way in which he has handled the social distancing and people wearing masks, basically encouraged them not to.
All right.
Ben, he's a fool on this.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the
cares.
A few days later, Trump and his family and staff in the White House tested positive for coronavirus. Trump was admitted to the hospital.
I prayed for his recovery when he got COVID. And I'd hoped at least he'd come out of it somewhat chastened. But what has he done? He's just doubled down on the misinformation he did before and making it worse.
Trump recovered. His poll numbers never did. To make up for lost time, Trump went back to his 2016 campaign rally playbook. Biden held fewer, smaller events, some as drive-ins. And despite polls showing voters were only moderately enthusiastic about Biden, his campaign tapped anti-Trump fervor to vastly outrage the president's. And that allowed Biden to outblitz Trump on the airwaves.
To look you in the eye, treat you with respect, and tell you the truth.
Trump attacked the truth-teller image his opponent promoted. He accused Biden of lying when Biden said he wasn't involved in his son's business deals.
I'll tell you what, it's an organized crime family as far as I'm concerned.
Another smear campaign.
In the final weeks of the campaign, attention turned to the Supreme Court and Trump's appointment of Amy Coney Barrett to fill the seat held by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died in mid-September.
We're on number 3.
Biden said Barrett's appointment would result in millions of Americans losing their health insurance.
It's about finally getting his wish to wipe out the Affordable Health Care Act.
Barrett, in her Senate confirmation hearing, said she's not on a mission to destroy the ACA.
I'm just here to apply the law and adhere to the rule of law. So help me God.
A week before Election Day, Barrett was confirmed by the Senate, reconfirming Trump's legacy.
And she will make an outstanding justice on the highest court in our land.
Now, Biden prepares to assume the highest office in the land. It was a campaign like no other during a time of profound uncertainty. Biden's ability to bring the country together, also uncertain, as now the transition gets underway.